Hello and welcome back to the program. Well, as I mentioned before the break, we're now joined by the Great Gulfcoast Arts Festival to talk about their event coming up in November. Always a big event in downtown Pensacola, and we're happy to see it back again this year. And joining us to talk about that is Brian McCall. Brian, thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the festival in general. We see over your shoulder there the 50 years for the festival. So tell us a little bit about the festival in general, and then we'll get down to some of the particulars for this year.
Okay, the festival is the starts the first Friday in November every year. This is our 50th year, so it's been going on for a while. The main feature is a juried art show where artists from around the country will submit samples of their work, and 220 will be chosen to exhibit. This year we have artists representing 26 states, 54 from Florida, and 18 local artists exhibiting. In addition, there's always music on the main stage. Pensacola Symphony Orchestra will be back. They're always a favorite. There's a Heritage Arts area that down in towards the museum, which is always a favorite. The Children's Festival again, and not new this year, but we're getting better at this part of it, is the Museum Plaza. There are going to be concerts on that stage and art demonstrations. The PSC Jazz Ensemble and the Pensacola Community Band will be performing there. So just a lot going on. Always food, good food and drinks and that kind of thing. So usually good weather that time of year. So just a great festival.
Knocking on wood for that weather, right?
Yes.
So you mentioned the juried selection for the artist. Tell us a little bit more about that, how that process works, and when you guys have to start looking at who you're actually going to bring into the art festival.
The applications for artists open in March. They submit 3 photos of their work and a photo of their booth. We have different judges and jurors every year. We select art professionals from around the country. They look at the images anonymously. They don't know who they are, and select who they think is best in trying to round out the categories, obviously jewelry and ceramics and painting. But the artists, the jurors are not from here typically, and they don't know who the artists are. So that process gives us, we think, some of the best art in the country. The art show is rated by the artists as one of the top art shows in the nation. We're actually number 9 this year, but rated by Sunshine Artist magazine. So that process just gives us the high caliber of art you see at the festival.
Absolutely, and I don't think a lot of people realize that you guys are selective on who you bring in. And I think you definitely see that at the festival as you walk around and see the high quality art. Like you said, I think you definitely see that. You mentioned the music that you guys have. You mentioned the orchestra, but yeah, they're also doing a special free concert this year as well, aren't you?
Just again, to celebrate the 50th year, we've got a couple of extra things going on this year. Thanks to a grant from Foo Foo Fest, we're presenting a free concert the Saturday night of the festival, November 5th. It's Bela Fleck, a renowned banjo performer. He's won 16 Grammys in many different categories. And I believe I'm correct in saying that he's been nominated for a Grammy in the most categories of anyone ever. He's got his Bluegrass Heart tour. And again, that's a free concert at the Maritime Park, the amphitheater in the Maritime Park. Bring your blankets, chairs, and just sit out on the lawn. Should be a great evening. Again, weather that time of year is usually just spot on. Should be a great concert by the bay there that evening.
Yeah, it sounds like a great evening. Like I said, right along the water, hopefully nice weather, which it usually is. So perfect opportunity to go down and just have a nice evening on the bay.
Absolutely.
And for the festival in general, I know one of the best parts is always the cost to get into the festival. Tell us, how much it costs for people to come down to the festival.
It doesn't cost anything. The festival is free. There's no admission. Just find a place to park and come on down. We'll have trolleys running from various spots. You can check the website for that. But yeah, there's no cost. To get in is free. You can spend your money on some food and some art.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, I really appreciate you coming in on the show today and joining us. Good luck with this year's events. Hard to believe 50 years. Uh,
Yes,
that you guys are already at 50 years. I know, of course, the pandemic slowed down that celebration a little bit, I'm sure, but it's
yes.
good to have you guys back downtown and appreciate you coming back on the program today.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the Fort Walton Beach Rotary Club.